Hey everybody, welcome back to Battle Ready Inc. So today's deck profile for you, we're going back and we're taking a look at Silphymon with the Rasenmon package. So there's multiple ways to go about building this deck. For the top end specifically, I would say the Silphymon and lower end is pretty uniform for across the board, but on the top end is actually where the deck gets pretty drastically different between all the different routes you can go. But on this build, we're sticking to the Rasenmon and the Fury mode, and that's going to be our main end goal focus for the deck. Also, our new memory marker this month is Narrowmon. This is handmade out of clay by my wife, hand painted as well as always. Very adorable. Really nice detail there on the paint job. I really like how this one turned out. Looks really good. Great if you're playing any sort of yellow deck this format, or if you're playing some Mastemon. Very, very cool memory marker for that deck. You can find that as well as all of our previous memory markers on our Etsy page, link in the description below, as well as our Battle Ready Inc. merch like our sleeves, our game mat, as well as our new dice. Alright, so we got the deck as a whole here. This is a little bit different from what we had in the feature match earlier this week. Just a couple changes that made a little bit more sense for the build, and kind of really bringing the whole deck together, I think, a lot better than what we had initially. So we'll go ahead and do the card by card here. We got Silphymon as our primary baby, just for that extra draw power. We do have a couple ways to like lower our security down, so actually getting ourselves to 3 security isn't too difficult, but with cards like Blinding Ray and Acid Injection, deliberately lowering our security, so we can actually trigger our Silphymons pretty quickly. But I do have a 5th egg in here in that of Coromon, so same thing if you have 3 or fewer security, but this one is minus 1000 DP when attacking. So we got a couple different when attacking and other kind of abilities here that do some DP minusing, so it can kind of synergize a little bit here. The new addition, though, that I threw in was the Salamon. So this is the inheritable that came out of the Mastemon starter deck of end of your turn, you may DNA Digivolve this Digimon and one of your other Digimon in play into a Digimon card in your hand by paying its DNA Digivolution cost. So the idea is Evo one of your level 4s on top of the Salamon, and then probably hard play one of your other level 4s to then DNA into a Silphymon or a Chimeramon. We've got 2 different DNA targets, so we'll pretty much always be able to very easily trigger this Salamon when it comes up. Next, I've got the Patamon here to kind of, it really synergizes with the deck as well. It has that inheritable that we've seen used with Rapidmon a lot of when an opponent's Digimon is deleted by dropping to 0 DP, gain 1 memory. Between, the Silphymon as well as some of our inheritables, the Rasenmon, we do a whole lot of DP minusing, so it actually got some good synergy here. So really like the Patamon kind of, really pops off with the deck pretty nicely. And then rounding out here, I do have the Rasenmon in here. I think this is kind of a flex spot. You can just really run whatever 3rd rookie you want. It just depends on the build that you want to go with, I would say. With Rasenmon like being our main end goal here and our like where we want to get to pretty much like 9 times out of 10, I like the Rasenmon a little bit, especially because we're only running the 12 rookies, which for a lot of the DNA decks I've been running lately, like 12 rookies has been fine. Like whether you're playing Vmon Armor Rush or like the Golden Armor Rush, 12 rookies is pretty solid when you're one of your level 4s is a hard play level 4. So we have this Aquilamon here that when you would play this card from your hand, reduce the play cost by 1 if you have a yellow Digimon in play. So this is a 3 play cost level 4, which is really ideal for DNA Digivolving into level 5s with, just like a Stingmon is in Pyldramon. So we got a lot of that kind of synergy going here. But unlike that deck, we have Pedomon here, which is a 1-cost evolution level 4. So I like that the 1-cost Evo there makes, just being able to do all these plays just that much easier without that much memory investment. And it also just happens to be a blocker, just so your opponent can't get any like free swings on you. Like just XVmon is an example. If that 4,000 DP, they're not going to get that one cheeky swing before they go into Pyldramon. They have to commit into the Pyldramon first, and they don't. You do ultimately do get to stop that swing. So the blocker is, pretty nice there. And Aquilomon, which we already talked about, but also has the inheritable of when attacking, not once per turn. This is as many times as you want to attack, which could come up. When attacking, if you have a yellow Digimon in play, delete one of your opponent's Digimon with 5,000 DP or less. That's pretty good. 5,000 DP or less in this format is actually very powerful. Looking at armors, 2 or 3 armors in VMon Armor Rush are 5,000 DP or less. If you're looking at Pyildramon, all of their level 4s are 5,000 DP or less, so you're gonna have a good matchup there. Actually, surprisingly, so pretty good control card. Really goes well with this whole deck. And then our last one here is the Dinohumon, and has the inheritable of when attacking one of your opponent's Digimon gets minus 1,000 DP for the turn. Also, not once per turn. So if you're getting multiple attacks, you can really stack these up. So you got the minus 1,000 there. You've got the potential from the minus 1,000 from the Koromon. If you got the Patamon here, you can gain a memory if it gets deleted. Lots of different synergies. Also, if you get their DP low enough, you can combine it with something like an Aquilomon. So you take a 6,000 DP, lower it by 1,000, and then boom, you pop it with the Aquilomon. So really nice synergies going on here. Dinohumon and Aquilomon are definitely a good force to be reckoned with. If you're going to DNA 2 of them together, those are definitely going to be some really good prime targets to want to combo together. And then looking at what we're DNA withing, Silphymon, of course, is our primary level 5 that we want to DNA with. When Digivolving, one of your opponent's Digimon gets minus 5,000 DP for the turn. Then, when DNA Digivolving, one of your opponent's Digimon with 5,000 DP, or delete one of your opponent's Digimon with 5,000 DP or less. So anything 10,000 DP, you basically get to clear off the field. So you minus it by 5, and then you pop it. So great way to clear a lot of cards in this format. Also, it's 8,000 DP, so if you minus 5,000 DP on like a 13,000 DP, you're crashing. 12,000 or less, you're swinging over. That's really powerful. That's really strong. Just a very nice control card. But it doesn't stop there. It also has the when attacking, delete one of your opponent's Digimon with 5,000 DP or less. The same as the Aquilomon here. So again, you DNA like the Dinohumon and the Aquilomon into the Silphymon, minus 5,000 DP on something, pop a 5,000 DP or less Digimon, Evo on top of the Silphymon and attack. You're going to trigger 2 of the pop 5,000 DP or less. That's 3 5,000 DP pops in like one turn. That's pretty nutty, honestly. That's pretty nice control, I would say, for sure. But our backup here is Chimeramon, which we can also DNA into. So when Digivolving, you may place 1 level 5 or lower Digimon card from your trash under this Digimon as its bottom Digivolution card. Then up to 4 of your opponent's Digimon get minus 1,000 DP for each of this Digimon's colors, right? So you'll only ever be at 3. In this build, we've got yellow and red, so minus 3,000 DP. Again, that combos with some of our other stuff here, so you can DNA for free, right? 0 Evo into Chimeramon and minus 3,000 on something, and then attack. And then so you can use your Aquilomon there or your Dinohumon inheritables to pop something or lower it even further. Or we can Digivolve into our Rasenmon. So what I really like about this deck is it's 0 to DNA with. And then if you have a memory fixer on field, you Evo into Rasenmon. And that's kind of like the goal here, is to DNA into your level 5s, which control the board, lower some DP for you, and then you Evo into Fury mode. So end of your attack, you may Digivolve this Digimon into a Rasenmon in your hand, ignoring its Digivolution requirements and without paying its Digivolution cost. The end of your turn, trash the top card of your security stack. You should really never Evo into a Fury mode unless you have the Rasenmon in hand. So I think it's more important to have more like an even amount. I know some people were playing like some really skewed numbers on this guy, but yeah, I really like the end of attack. So you swing in with your 13,000 DP and trigger all your inheritables here, and then you Digivolve into the Rasenmon in your hand. And then Rasenmon has a Digiburst ability here of you can Digiburst up to 4 to minus 3,000 DP on one of your opponent's Digimon for each card you Digibursted. if you Digiburst the Fury mode away, when this card is trashed, as a Digivolution card, by Rasenmon's effect, unsuspend one of your Digimon, and it gets 3,000 DP for the turn. So your Rasenmon here goes up to 14,000, and it unsuspends so it can attack again. So we get a double attack. So Rasen Fury mode attacks, and then Rasenmon attacks. So all these when attacking inheritables that aren't once per turn are all triggering a second time. So you're going to literally clear your opponent's board. This deck is all about just control, control, control. You control your whole opponent's board. If they ever stick anything, you just clear it off. Now, where this falls short is against decks, like maybe security control, where maybe they got a bunch of tamers and they're not really committing to a big board. But if they do commit to a board, you'll absolutely devastate them. Any other kind of decks, armor decks, this deck just eats armor decks for lunch so hard. So hard it just eats armor decks. Just no contest. Super easy. So really liking that whole synergy. Now this next bit, we've got the Kazuchimon. I ultimately dropped the Fury mode and the regular Rasenmon down 1 each from a 4-ofs to 3-ofs, just so we could work in the Kazuchimon, just because we go through some of our a decent amount of our security and things like that. We don't have any sort of good recovery, even though this is a yellow deck. So this is just a good way to keep you in the game here. So you can Digivolve if you have 3 or more. Security, gain 2 memory, so it makes it basically a 3 evo, and it gets security attack +1 if you have 2 or fewer security cards. You may recovery +1 until you have 3. Yeah, and then he has security attack +1 if you have 3 or more security. So he's just a good way to get you back in the game. If you go too low on your security, you just evo into Kazuchimon and get your security right back up. And keep you in the fight. And I think that's important. Also, he's got security attack +1, so, he can put in some work. We got the TK in here mainly just as our memory fixer, as well as just grabbing something out of security that could be a little bit beneficial. If it's a Silphymon, or maybe it's one of your level 4s that you need to DNA with, whatever the case may be. TK is pretty solid for just some good setup. I debated the Kari, but I think the Kari is so situational of only being able to really work with Kazuchimon that just run the TK just for a little bit more consistency. I do have the TK and Kari duo tamer here, so gain 2 memory if you have fewer security than your opponent. Like I was saying earlier, we can actually lower our own security down pretty easily with the blinding ray and acid injection. So just makes these guys online extra fast and getting you that memory early game very quickly. And also when you attack with a yellow Digimon, -1,000 DP on one of your opponent's Digimon. So again, more synergy with the whole deck, being able to lower stuff into that 5,000 DP bracket so you can pop it. So multiple different ways to DP minus, so you can go ahead and pop it. One of the things I did debate on for this Rasenmon here was the Silphymon. This Silphymon here was another when attacking one of your opponent's Digimon gets -1,000 DP for the turn. So you could argue running the Silphymon in place of the Rasenmon here if you want to. But that is just an alternative. So just a ton of synergy going on here. I actually meant to add that in earlier to talk about it. Next, we got the Blinding Ray. Trash the top card of your security, then gain 2 memory. Just a good playmaker. It just helps you, do some really cool stuff where, you might need to hard play the Silphymon and then DNA and then have enough memory afterwards to still evo into your Rasenmon, into your Fury mode, So Blinding Ray gets you a little bit extra there. Acid Injection also just trash the top card of your security stack, then one of your opponent's Digimon gets 5,000 DP for the turn. 1 play cost for -5,000 DP is pretty awesome. I do like that a lot. Now you do have to give up some of your security, but that's okay. -5,000 though, again, that's a great synergy with this whole deck. Go into Silphymon, or play the Acid Injection and then DNA into Silphymon to pop something huge like a 15,000 DP Digimon, lower it by 5, then Silphymon lowers it by another 5, and then Silphymon pops it. That's massive, absolutely massive. And even if you're just passing turn, the Silphymon here will trigger so you can Digivolve after you pass turn and still get your Silphymon off and still control the board. So great synergy with all these cards. And then I just rounded out the list with some yellow memory boosts. Just, again, get a little bit of extra memory when you need it, but also just a little bit more consistency, being able to add those yellow targets, your Rasenmons and Kazuchimons. Say you're in a dire situation where you really need some recovery, yellow memory boost, add the Kazuchimon, evo into the Kazuchimon. So just really synergizes pretty well together there. And that is the deck. It's relatively simple and straightforward. It's all about just controlling your opponent's board, and once you got a good, nice control, then you just kind of go into Fury mode, and then just start eating them for lunch, for real. And multiple attacks here, multiple swings with the Rasenmons, and then just controlling the board even more afterwards. Very good, just all-around synergy in the deck. Again, the only change I think you could argue making would be just adding in this Silphymon here for that extra minus 1000 DP over the Rasenmon. I think that would be a pretty safe swap out if you wanted to go that route instead. But if you have any other suggestions, definitely put them in the comment section below, because you know me, I always read it. I always try to reply to you guys as much as I possibly can. I've had some great feedback. Literally, that's why I added in the Silphymon, was because of one of our commenters was like, hey, that Silphymon would actually combo great in this deck. I was like, that's so true. And then for the deck profile, you know, I threw it in there because I think it was a very good include. So I do read your guys' comments. I do enjoy them. It helps me grow as a player just as much as my videos help other players grow. So I definitely appreciate it. I can't wait to see you in the next one.